welcome to this week's episode of Tiny Table Talk for The Challenge Season 5 Total Madness Episode 15. We have done it. We have made it through the season and are heading to the finals. But before we can get there, we have some things to talk about from this episode. Now, this week's episode of The Challenge featured a daily challenge called Crash Course, where it was essentially car bowling or drift bowling, where 10 people would be standing on 10 stacks of barrels, while one person would be in a stunt car driving towards them, trying to knock down as many barrels as they can. The one man and woman to knock down the most barrels in their round made it into the tribunal. Now, this daily challenge kind of reminded me a little bit of the Crossfire Daily Challenge in Champs vs. Stars 2018, where in that daily challenge, the teams were split up into two roles. One role was on the ground, where you had to get a whole bunch of kickballs, put them in these giant slingshots, and try to knock down towers of boxes. While the other role on your team is people in harnesses on top of the rafters trying to block the balls from hitting your tower of boxes or hitting your team's tower of boxes. Now, in that daily challenge, we learned that people could put their feet on the boxes for getting them to be stable enough for them to not fall as quickly as possible. While on the other hand, we saw from Ashley Millionaire Mitchell, who did not like her team whatsoever because she had to switch teams, that she was able to knock down the boxes on purpose. So why am I bringing up a daily challenge from 2018's Champs vs. Stars? Well, I want to look into a strategy that I think was used during this daily challenge, and I want to show you guys this, in particularly breaking down Johnny Bananas' immaculate 25 barrel knockdown. Casey on the outside, then right behind Casey on the outside is Kyle, who's working very, very close with Bananas as well. And right behind him, in the very back corner of this daily challenge, of this format, is Melissa. So as Johnny is barreling down, we can see that when he hits into Jenny, highlight and keep our eyes on Kyle's stack of barrels. Kyle is already falling over with his stacks of barrel. Now, you might be thinking, oh, he was bracing for impact, he's nervous, he is falling over, but once the car passes Kyle's barrel, his barrel on the bottom, on the ground, has not moved. It is unwavered, meaning Bananas was going to not hit Kyle's barrel at all. In fact, he doesn't even hit Casey's barrel, who Casey seems to be the only person left standing at the end of Johnny Bananas' run. So if he doesn't hit Casey's barrel, he was definitely not going to hit Kyle's, who is behind and over more than Casey's. Then if we go back to the front of this run, we keep our eyes on Melissa. Melissa, if he's not going to hit Kyle's or Casey's, he's definitely not going to hit Melissa's because he's more over towards his left-hand side. So when he's going through this, he's about to just be past everybody's barrels in general. Then we see, oops, there's Melissa's kicked out foot, and she is knocking over her barrels on purpose to get Bananas as many barrels knocked down as they can. So that's how he gets 25 barrels. Now, again, I have to say, I'm sure this was a strategy used in multiple rounds, used by multiple people to help get them safe in their tribunal or get their friends in the tribunal. It just was very blatant in the Bananas run, and I felt like I really wanted to highlight this and to break it down a little bit more of what the strategy was used in this daily challenge. Now, in this episode of the challenge, we got to see a very strong, touching friendship between Nelson and Cory. Now, this one could go back all the way to Rivals 3 when they were on that season together. We knew they were working together on Invasion of the Champions, and they even made it to the finals together, even though there was a bit of a fallout right before the finals, but they have been friends since then. Then they were definitely working together once they made the TYB with Hunter in Dirty 30, and they've just not looked back ever since. They have been really, really solid with one another. But as the challenge seasons go on, these friendships come and go. Yes, people are on the same seasons with each other, but we've seen people get into fights, have faux friendships, faux relationships. We got to see in this episode, I think, a very genuine, authentic friendship with Nelson, with Cory, and putting his chances of winning $1 million to 0% as he was eliminated in the Hall Brawl, and he did it to help his friend Cory get that much closer to the finals and to win $1 million to help out his daughters and his family back home. I think that this is something we don't normally see in the challenge, as the challenge is a very cutthroat, backstabbing, blindsiding type of game. I can get into the more mental aspect of what Nelson was thinking or what was going on throughout the day, throughout this episode, but I really want to shift your focus towards Nelson's YouTube channel, as he just posted a video talking about and recapping everything from his perspective and everything that happened in this past week's episode of the challenge. Go check it out. I'll put a link in the description below. It's a 16-minute video, and Nelson really just lays it all out on the line. Everything that he was thinking, everything that went on during that day, during that challenge, during the elimination. It's a really, really insightful YouTube video, so I definitely say go check that out. I highly recommend it, but definitely an amazing friendship. I was really rooting for Nelson to win. Just seeing Nelson completely just throw it all out there for his friend was so touching, and I really wanted to see both Nelson and Cory in the finals this season. It just did not happen. All right, I just want to touch a little bit into this week's elimination. Not a whole lot has to be dived into or delved into because it's a Hall Brawl. It's pretty much the strategy. You know what you have to do. You have to get past your opponent to go ring your bell. Best 2 out of 3 win. It's a fan favorite. It's one of my all-time favorite eliminations of all time in challenge history. I think it's a lot of challenge fans' favorites. Elimination is the Hall Brawl. It's a headbanger. We got to see Jenny absolutely decimate Dee. I mean, Dee had no shot of winning this against Jenny, who lost in the Hall Brawl last season, War of the Worlds 2, in her rookie season to Tori. And if you watch those two seasons back to back, those two Hall Brawls back to back with Total Madness and War of the Worlds 2, you can see how much Jenny has upped her game in this elimination. She went low instead of going up high. She knew exactly what she had to do, and she got redemption, and she took it by force. It was absolutely incredible. This was a tale of two Hall Brawls in this episode, as we had a major blowout in major one-sided elimination Hall Brawl with Jenny versus Dee, and then we had just a wrestling match in the one with Rogan versus Nelson. This was a fun watch. Again, I was really rooting for Nelson to win, especially after everything that happened in this episode. Jenny and Rogan took care of business, and they are heading into the finals. And I definitely feel as though that everyone left in the game went into an elimination. They got their red skulls. They did what they had to do all season to stay safe and to get to the finals. And everyone deserves to be in this year's finals that have made it. Now let's dive into the comment section from my Thursday's review and recap of the challenge season 35 Total Madness episode 15. And the first comment comes from Jaquiz Rogers, the NFL running back. Jaquiz Rogers? Are you watching my videos, man? He says, TJ says it's the most brutal final every season. That is correct. TJ always says that. I think TJ is contractually obligated to say that every single season, but we have to look at what happened in the previews, and it sounds and looks like it is the most brutal final, as we are getting into snow. We're getting into the frozen tundra. I think one of the hardest challenge seasons finals is from Battle of the X's, and that was in a frozen tundra. We saw CT really hurting on that one. I think this one could look and be one of the most brutal. I'm hoping for, at least. The next comment comes from Nicola Esguerra, who says, how's the finals going to work considering there's 5 guys and 4 girls? I was thinking the same thing. I thought it was weird that there was 9 people in this challenge finals. But we do hear from the previews for the finals for the next episode that TJ says that there is going to be 2 people eliminated from this year's finals. So we're going from 9 to 7. Maybe it's going to be like a War of the Worlds type of thing where there'll be an elimination happening within the finals, kind of like what happened with Ninja and Hunter. And then there were people being lopped off like Kara with the whole boat situation and the locks. But I'm sure that'll happen. I guess it doesn't really matter too much if they're solo and if there's going to be one guy and one girl winner. So we'll have to just wait and see what happens there. The next comment comes from Banana Ariello, who says, my goal in life is to be the Nelson to someone's Cory. I think we should all strive to be someone's Nelson to someone's Cory. And I think that the world would be a better place if we were looking out for each other like that. The next comment comes from Struggling a Tart. I got emotional at Nelson talking to Colin Bananas like, damn, that was a big move. He is a true one. We should all try and be like that to our friends. Agreed. Again, Banana Ariello and Struggling a Tart, get it. And then we have another comment. We have a comment from OD who says, watching the two easiest Red Skulls compete again, especially with being the elimination, was so satisfying. No one can say Jenny or Rogan truly don't deserve that spot in the final now. Even more satisfying was watching Jenny redeem herself from last season's elimination. Amazing. Hall Brawl remains to be one of my favorite eliminations. Completely agree. I even had that thought process in my head as the episode was going. It was like, okay, Jenny got her Red Skull way early on in the season against Jen in one of the most easiest, gosh, I have to stop doing that. In one of the easiest Red Skulls elimination in this season. So having to go up head to head with D to take out somebody in this physical way and get redemption was a great character arc for Jenny. And then we had Rogan, who had a Red Skull because he medically DQ'd Jay out of the elimination in the fireball early on in the season. So him going into an elimination, going up against an elimination beast in Nelson and winning was very impressive. I thought that Nelson was going to win because his record states that he wins more often than he loses in eliminations, but Rogan went in, did what he had to do, and won. So I do believe that they both deserve to be in the finals with the other 7 people that have made it in there as well. So definitely. And the final comment comes from Priscilla, who says, one of those eliminations where you wish there was no edits and music just so you can hear the impact of the two competitors colliding. I was so wanting so badly to have the challenge not only give us the edits where it was the hits from all different angles, but I also wanted to see them come back after seeing somebody win the round, come back and just show them in real time. Kind of like how they did in Invasion of the Champs, where it was the last elimination right before the finals. It was called Inside Out with Cory, Nelson, and Shane. And they showed the edit of them going off and then Nelson winning, in everybody talking about how quick it was. But then they came back and showed it in real time and it took like 5 seconds. I wanted to see that happen in this episode where they showed it all from different angles, showed the cool slow-mo shots, and then come back with no edits and just show it in real time, because I feel as though that the Jenny and D one went way quicker than what we expected. Like, what we saw was way longer because they kept showing the same shot over and over and over again, maybe from different angles, maybe in a slow-mo, but I felt as though that was really 10 to 15 seconds, maybe even a minute at most, but I don't even think it touched a minute in either round. I think once they hit, Jenny had D on her heels and it was done. Maybe the Rogan and Nelson one took a little bit longer, but I really wanted to see it happen in full real time as well, Priscilla. So I definitely agree with you there. But that's it for this episode of Tiny Table Talk for The Challenge. What did you think about this episode? Let me know that in the comment section below. What did you like about this episode? What did you not like about this episode? Let me know anything and everything you have about this episode in the comment section below. Also, I'm going to be doing a final preview, going over everybody's stats from this season, how they stack up heading into the finals. So if you want to, I want to highlight some comments from you guys from this comment section. So let me know in the comment section below who you're rooting for, who do you think will win, and where these guys stack up for you. Let me know that in the comment section below. I'll be highlighting a few in the episode as I'm talking, going through the final preview. So let me know that in the comment section below, anything and everything you have about these competitors heading into the finals and what you think about the finals from the previews. Let me know that in the comment section below. Also, while you're down there, hit that like and subscribe button. I'll be back really soon with more challenge content, more content in general. But until then, peace.